Hello everyone, a very good evening everyone. My name is Kenneth and this is my co-founder John. We're really excited to be here today to introduce to you the future of online dating. Love Out Loud Asia, in short, Lola. Here are three major problems we see in online dating today. There is a severe lack of privacy because everybody can see your profile. Another major problem is what we call the numbers game. Guys, they pay a monthly subscription fee and they try to get their money's worth by sending out winks and messages to hundreds of females, hoping for a response. And what happens here is that the females receive a lot of unwanted messages and spam, and this results in a negative experience for both parties. Finally, many online dating sites and apps have an overemphasis on being online. For us, we built Lola with the strong belief that singles should spend less time online and more time actually dating. So we focus on date ideas to make the experience more about meeting up and doing awesome things together rather than hiding behind a computer. Secondly, privacy is a huge concern, especially for the Asian demographic that we're going after. So we send our users one match a day at noon. This greatly reduces their profile exposure. To better illustrate how it works, we've prepared a short video for you today, and I'd like to play it for you now.
People often say online dating sucks. We agree. That's why we built Love Out Loud Asia, in short, Lola. Here's how it works. Post a date idea. Lola will send you one match a day at noon. Interested to connect? Simply tap like. Private. Go on awesome dates. Download Love Out Loud Asia today.
Okay. What you've just witnessed is a simple, fun, and private way to go on awesome dates. We like to think it's online dating for people who hate online dating. But the real magic takes place behind the scenes. How do we deliver quality matches to our users? The answer lies in our matching algorithm. 30% is based on the date idea which users submit, another 30% based on their profile and Facebook social graph. And here's where it gets interesting. We believe people who look alike will be more attracted to each other. So we have partnered with the National University of Singapore to develop a facial recognition technology in the context of online dating. Finally, there is a learning aspect to our system, and it will learn the user's preference and past behavior. So, till date, we have slightly over 5,000 users with an engagement ratio of 38% and 10% in daily mutual likes. I'm really happy to announce that so far, we have already successfully paired over 1,000 singles. So, just last week, we asked all our users this question. How would they feel if we were to stop our dating service the very next day? And we were really pleased to learn that 46% of them said they would be very disappointed. So, we would like to think that we have achieved product market fit, and I would like to hand the time over to John, who will talk about the business model and our team.
So, the online dating space is a huge market in Asia at $1 billion a year. But to be more specific, we took reference to a Korean dating site called IM. That was based on a very similar concept with ours, founded in 2011. In 2012, the average revenue per user was $750 a year. By mid-2013, they've got 1.75% of Korea's internet population. And by 2016, Southeast Asia will have 205 million internet users. What that really means for us is 26.9M annual revenue potential. On top of that, we are looking to tap into the 2.7 B e-commerce market. Why? Because all of these online dating players face a common problem. Successful users leave their product. And the bigger vision is really defining our product roadmap. It's social-driven e-commerce, where users get together and stay together on the app. What that really means is that essentially we're selling the concept of a great date We designed a date book where couples can browse and search for dates specially catered for them. This is also applicable to singles looking to actually meet up. And this can only be established through a network of quality merchants capable of delivering quality offline experiences. So we think we are well equipped to execute this idea, not only because of our deep product expertise, but because we ran Stripe, our previous B2B startup, currently in more than 300 locations in Singapore. What that means for us is the moment we want to launch to couples and date book, we have a network of merchants ready to go. And so I've come to the final and most important slide of our pitch. On top of having received a commitment from our early investor, Fish, to go into our next round, here's really why we should receive an investment. First of all, the problem with online dating today are true and present. We have an innovative concept that our target market is engaged with. And finally, the market potential for this is huge. Because simply put, everyone wants to go on a great date. And that's all I have for you guys. For all you single people, do download our app today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very interested in your face technology, face matching technology. Could you tell me how it works?
So we're actually working with the National University of Singapore, and so one aspect to matching, we feel facial is important. How it really works is we match people that looks alike with each other. That not only takes into consideration how well you look. I mean, generally we feel that good-looking guys want to go for good-looking girls. So, and so we think that building on such a technology will help to automate and scale this process.
Okay. Yeah. And also I'd like to ask about your global expansion plan, and your application seems to be being loved by various countries in the Asian region. But do you have any plan to come to Japan? I mean, in Japan, maybe so the marriage meeting service is more popular than dating matching service for some reason, and dating service is not so popular. And do you have any idea about entering into Japanese market?
I think what we're trying to do now in our early phase is really to test our product. Okay. And really in the 4 cities that we have mentioned, we are in Singapore, Manila, Jakarta and KL. So we are really testing certain key metrics, and we like what we see so far. And really the next move would then be to go to other affluent cities such as Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, Japan. But that's for, we are still in discussion for that.
Hey guys,
Hi.
Today, probably the feedback that I'm going to give right now is going to be the same thing that we did with speed dating stuff. So for me, when I look at the dating ecosystem and application, I mentioned this before, but you have to think about the down cycle and up cycle of the actual users, right? What happens when they break up? This is actually one of the biggest problems that the dating apps ecosystem is actually occurring. When they break up, where do those users go? When they actually go get more serious and they get married, where do the users go? Because the dating app dynamic is very, very different once you actually leave those stages, right? And hence, you really need to think about how you want to place those users and like what kind of partnerships you actually want to make that is number one, equitable for you guys, but also very increase a lot of utility and happiness for the users in the future. I would change the noon thing. The noon thing has been done, yeah? And it's already been published by some guy in Thailand. So I just changed the timing. It doesn't really matter if it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'd be actually happy if it was 2 o'clock because that's after when I'm really, really like full and like I have I ate too much, so I'm really sleepy. So if I find a girl that I like, it'll wake me up, so that'll be better. In terms of your overall 4 core technology portions, it's really important that you own it really, really quickly. So your facial recognition technology, your machine learning, your overall, in terms of how you actually build up the UX so that the data they input is the least pain inducing will be very, very important. Another portion is about ARPU, right? You said ARPU was 7.5. if you can't put that ARPU on Southeast Asia right now, even if it's 2016, right? What you could do is say that this is sensible for like Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, perhaps, and even Japan and Australia. But if you want to put that Southeast Asia ARPU on there, you got to bring it way, way down. And I think that's a little bit different. Also, you have to I think you have to consider long term what the cultural fit will be for your app. So right now, I think we're taking a one-size-fits-all to the dating app dynamic, but definitely how you interact with the app when you're in Singapore will be very different in terms of how you interact with it when you're in Indonesia, for example, because there's a high Muslim population. So maybe there's some interactions that do not work well with one another. So those are things to say.
One simple question: do you have a secret sauce to to make pretty hot girls use this product? Because I think that's the biggest piece of the factor. I'm not joking. It's not about the algorithm. It's just bringing in hot girls. Because usually a lot of dating websites, you have tons of males. You don't have pretty girls.
And it just has to be a bit better at tech conferences.
Sure. So I think essentially the problem that we are really trying to solve is the unbalanced ratio. So almost all online dating sites, there's tons of men. And the problem with all these sites is that the women, there are way too many messages. If you ask any women, which women wants to have their profile seen by thousands of men? So that's one of the reasons why we think that going private once a day is something that women will actually love. And so, and it's really shown by the survey that we've done. 46% of them really say that they'll be very disappointed if we close down. On top of that, how do we get hot women? I think one thing is to get hot guys. Hot guys, hot women will be attracted to hot guys. So I think in general, yeah.
Cool. I love this model, and I love to see how it adapts to different countries in Southeast Asia. I love it so much till I invested in Noon soon. Right, so just a disclaimer. So, so my questions are, the first one, you mentioned that you were in 4 different countries, right? Like Manila and all of that. So you mentioned also you had 5,000 users. So how many users are in Singapore and how many users are in the rest of the markets?
In Singapore right now, it will be about half of that. And in Manila, we have about 1,002, and the rest, Jakarta and KL. So actually, it's in this order: Singapore, Manila, Jakarta, KL.
Okay, got it. So typically for models, when you import a model and adapt it to the region, right? And this applies to any kind of business model that maybe some of you in the crowd are sort of bringing in, is that what you'll see is that pitching the idea is the easy part because it's proven somewhere else. Right? The tricky one is getting the growth recipe correct. So, for example, when you go into Manila, the first 1,000 users, how did you do that? How do you spend money to get the next 10,000 users, so on and so forth? So, right now, with your experience in growing Manila, the first 1,000 users in Manila, not your home base, how did you get the first 1,000?
To be honest, for our first 1,000 users in Manila, it was purely through Facebook ads. And we realized that this is not going to be a long-term solution. We really need to bring the acquisition cost much lower. So we are working on a lot of different features that will actually play off on our marketing. For example, we could do groups. So really go in and say that let's segment the groups. For example, university students, working class, and really let them create groups within our app. And some other features like you could do matchmaking, a friend, getting 2 friends to come to join our app with a great idea. You could even do double dating. Me and John, we could get 2 matches a day, and we could do a group chat. And of course, based on a point system, all this, you got to kick in with your virality also here.
So, so you're building more features for virality, that's cool. So, kind of like a classic word of advice, I think probably how the rocket way of doing it is they'll just use ad spend and get smarter as they spend and learn more on ad spend. So, and you're also going to spend resources on innovating product features to create virality as well. So I think your skill as an entrepreneur is to manage them both, because if you're raising 500 grand, you're like, okay, how much are we going to spend on learning and driving down our CPA versus building new features and driving up virality. So I wish you guys all the best. It's a very exciting market to be in right now.
Thank you.
One last question, one
Sure.
last comment. If you, in terms of user acquisition, I would suggest that you try to target for the male side a younger demographic, but the women's side an older demographic. If you want to make this a little bit more viral, it's just because the dating dynamic that you want is much more aggressive and much more dynamic as a dating app application. So I think the older demographic of the women, I'm not saying like geriatric, but I'm saying like 30 to 35-year-olds, matching them up with 20 to 25-year-olds, just because I think the dating dynamic will work better there.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you, Lola. Thank you, gentlemen. Excellent.